Pizza Planet.
Pizza Planet.
Cool.
We should do a movie. Pizza Planet movie.
A Pizza Planet movie?
Animated. Pixar.
It's just that dude in the Toyota truck.
It's just delivering space pizza.
Kind of like Crazy Taxi, but with a pizza delivery.
Yeah. But what's up, everybody? Welcome to another
What's going
episode of Haph-Ast podcast. I'm Carlos.
I'm Joaquin.
And today we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And
Probably gonna be all over the place though.
it's gonna be all over the place, but it's not gonna be anything people haven't heard. It's just gonna be our takes on it, because I have a feeling like for the next week still there's just gonna be Game of Thrones season 8 stuff.
A lot of the Game of Thrones talk.
I've been seeing a lot of these videos pop up on my recommended feed where it's like Game of Thrones details that you didn't catch, and it's like, okay, I didn't catch some details.
The Starbucks cups and the water bottles.
I know. Starbucks. Speaking of,
Yeah. Oh, I don't have a water bottle.
yeah, no, it's no, well, not things like that, not like mess ups and stuff, but it's like, oh, lore.
Did you
stuff.
notice Brienne's armor with
Yeah.
the raven on it?
Stuff
and
like
stuff
that.
like that. Yeah.
Because I wasn't as into the show as most people, I'm not gonna care. But the way I watch movies and the way I watch shows, especially if it's something like this where I'm gonna sit there and pay attention to it, I really pay attention to everything. Like, I'll catch a lot of things that people don't on the first go around, and I noticed that when I watch movies with Steven and Zach.
Yeah, I feel like you watch movies a bit differently than I do. Like, I was trying to think of something. Like, okay, like what we're gonna talk about, or I'll talk about it, but
Yeah.
we're gonna bring up John Wick 3,
Yes.
and
Which I need to watch still.
yeah. So when I watched 2, I was like, damn, that's like a near perfect movie for me, and it was just like fun, over the top. And I could like accept all the like dumb stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
And you right away, you're like, bulletproof suits, nah.
Well, it's not that I didn't like that part or I thought it was dumb. It was just like
it does take you out of like that whole like. The first one feels like it's built in a sense of reality,
yeah.
and as soon as you get the bulletproof suit, it's kind of thrown out the window.
No, that I didn't mind because I thought it was cool. I was like, if you could actually have fabric like that, which I've seen videos of actual clothes that's like that, that's meant to withstand bullets, but the fact that he has it on, it's like, oh, he's not gonna die now, unless some people have like armor piercing bullets. Where it's like, oh, they have those. Now I'm a little more into it because now he doesn't know who has those. That would have thrown me back in. And I would have been like,
so
oh, he's going to die.
You may probably like John Wick 3 a lot more than.
Okay, cool.
Because granted, there's some stuff in there, like there's a knife that goes through the suit.
See, that I'm like, okay, that sounds cool.
And it's like,
Is it like a lightsaber knife?
no, it's just a knife being like dug into him.
Oh.
But there's like stuff like that, and then he's not the only one that has some like bulletproof clothing on.
Well, Common had it too, didn't he?
Did he? I don't know.
In the second one,
okay.
Because I mean, they basically
like
shot each
they're
other.
shooting at each other. No, like I don't want to like say much about about the
fine.
movie, but well, I mean, not just for you, but for
This is a spoiler-free review.
yeah. But there's a point where he's kind of has to come face to face with a whole like tactical team in garb, basically bulletproof.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know exactly what to do in the situation.
See, that sounds cool. And in the second one, I didn't feel like he was in many of those situations, although he was up against a lot of people know what they're doing.
Was it the big tunnel scene?
Yeah.
Or in the catacombs?
Yeah.
And that one was, because I felt like it was almost necessary, and it almost feels like a video game at that point, because that's the way I looked at it. Like,
oh shoot, hold up.
That's the way.
No, go ahead.
Like, I looked at it from a video game perspective. When
Yeah.
you're playing a video game and you're like unloading on like countless enemies, and you're the one guy versus 100 or 1,000 or however many.
Yeah.
I
mean, there usually is a moment like that in movies.
Yeah, but you'd figure, you know, at least that like a certain person would get, you know, shot at or at least get hit more than once.
Yes.
So for him having the bulletproof suit,
yeah,
it kind of made sense. Like, well, you know, he's not, you know, what's the word? He's not immune to all, you know, gunshots, essentially. Like, he is gonna get shot at.
yeah.
He is gonna get hit.
That's my only. Well, I wouldn't say it was my only big problem with the second one, but that was my main one because I didn't feel like there was that much danger. It felt very much like a Superman kind of movie.
In the second movie?
Comic, yeah. And to hear what you've said so far about the third one, that sounds cool. Because I would want to see him in more of that, like, I gotta get out of this situation, but there's a chance I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah. So I guess I could probably just jump in
Sure.
to the John Wick 3. I guess I wouldn't say a discussion but just my overall like look of the movie.
Yeah.
It basically opens up right after the second.
Right
movie.
after the second. Okay, that's how the second one starts, right?
Yeah.
Right
or
after the first one.
yeah. Basically, like
Yeah.
I think it's like maybe like a couple days or something.
Yeah.
Because he's beat up after the first one. I'm sure he like took a nap.
I drank some Gatorade.
But yeah, so he it just flat out opens with him running.
Okay, I mean that's how it ended. So.
Yeah, so right away I was like, I turned to my friend and I said, this movie better open up with him just on the run.
Yeah.
And we'll see where it goes from there. And sure enough, he has I believe it's the because they gave him an hour, like an hour head start,
something like that.
and so in this one, he basically has 20 minutes from a certain point, and those 20 minutes almost play in real time.
Yeah,
and it's just nonstop like
That's
action. Overall, with the movie, I gotta say, man, I love this one a lot more than the first two.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was they actually managed to pull off like action that outdid the first and the second movie.
Yeah.
But they just brought in more world building.
And yeah, I think the first one didn't do as good of a job as the second one.
Yeah, the first one does this thing where it opens up that whole like, oh, dude, you can make a whole series about just these people in the hotel.
Yeah, and then you told me about a movie that was basically
Hotel Artemis.
Which was essentially like the Continental.
Yeah,
That is in John Wick.
Yeah,
like the movie centered on the hotel. I thought that was a really cool idea for a movie. Like we were talking about it, I was like, oh, dude, why don't they just make a movie about the hotel? Like that's something I'd want to watch. And there pretty much is one.
So the first one, it kind of just gives you the hotel. There's all the guys he's like handing coins off to.
Yeah.
Like the cleanup crew, and you realize like this is a little bigger than what you thought it was initially going to be. And the second one's just like, we got blood oaths, we got
fax machines.
Yeah, we got fax machines. There's
we got OG operators.
Yeah, like
there's a lot more. There's like a network.
There's the high table in the second one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's people above, just who run the hotel. And it's not just a hotel that's like running things.
Yeah.
And this one, it opens up. We get a glimpse at his life, essentially before he was John Wick.
Yeah.
If you remember his tattoo at the beginning of the first movie,
what is it?
he has I believe it's
isn't it like something broken?
It's it looks like I forget who or what it was, but it's like almost like a mural on his back, and it's an angel or some sort of icon.
Let me look it up because I might know what it is.
It's basically that I should have done some homework before I came on.
Homework right now,
but I know the back was it was the if you want peace, prepare for war in Latin.
Okay, yeah, and then there's like
there's
the praying hands. There's some other stuff going on in there too.
So that entire tattoo kind of has, there's a big story regarding that tattoo, and it's not fully explained, but there's a lot going on regarding that tattoo.
Fortis Fortuna Adiobat.
Is that what it says at the top? I thought it said something else. Okay, so
Google time. No, yeah, go.
So there's that big world that they set up. There's
fortune favors the bold. That's what it translates to.
They build that up. There's apparently an elder that goes above the high table. So there's one more. There's the highest.
It sounds cooler than Game of Thrones already.
It goes above that. They go in a full Assassin's Creed territory, which really like kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
As to when they kind of did that, they did the whole like. Yeah. And I looked at my friend like, is this happening right now, dude? Like, are we gonna is John Wick gonna be like a part of the Matrix, kind of like Assassin's Creed or something? Like,
I need to watch this movie now.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of like stuff that they introduce that, and it's just kind of like it's not thrown away, but it's set up for something.
And see, this was my fear, kind of, with something like this. If this is gonna be the last movie, to just cut all that stuff off makes me sad. So, because I'd want to see so much more.
Okay, so when they first announced, John, like chapter 2, and it got confirmed for the third one.
Yeah.
The writers, the director,
who did write it? Anyways, go ahead.
They all said that it was going to be basically a trilogy. And so when I went into this, I was expecting, the conclusion of John Wick's story. I don't mean to spoil this for anyone, but they've already confirmed John Wick 4 for May 21st, I believe 2021.
What?
Yeah. And
that's a trick.
They basically said, we'll stop when the fans don't want it anymore.
I'm excited now.
So
I'm excited now.
This one opened up to, I believe, $58 million this past weekend.
Okay.
Which is a bigger opening than the first two, I believe, combined.
Yeah.
So the fact that people want Keanu whooping some ass.
Dude, yeah, he's good at it. That's basically just Matrix, dude.
Dude, like,
that's basically what
all right,
done.
dude. So I just like, if you don't want to hear, about some bit of detail in the story, just
of the third one,
of this third one.
Okay.
For the audience, I'd say maybe just kind of like put it on mute for maybe like 20 seconds.
I would have had a massive spoiler button.
Yeah, no, I don't care. But there's a big scene in the third act.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to say this without giving away what happens. Much, yeah. But there's a big scene in the third act where I kind of started smiling and said, "Is this going to be a big homage to the lobby scene in the first Matrix movie?" And you see that, like,
it was, wasn't it?
You see John Wick getting all his guns, loading up, and then the power goes out in the hotel, and they turn on the floodlights, and those floodlights is that puke green from the Matrix, and I'm not one of those guys that claps out loud in the theater, but
you
I
was
clapped
today
because I had the utmost respect for this movie at that point because they know who their audience is and they cater the hell out of it.
That's the see, this is one thing I do like about movies like this is that well, first of all, that level of violence is something we want to see, but in a movie like this, it's absolutely appropriate.
Yes.
And that's basically why we're going. And with a character like John Wick, that's something that you're bound to get. Having a movie where he can't solve his problems like that would also be interesting. But that's why we're going.
Yeah,
that's why we're
go
going
in because we know what he's about. Like
we want to see the gun fu. Derek Kolstad.
Yeah.
Oh, writers: Derek Kolstad, Shay Hatton, Chris. Oh, there's a lot of writers on this one. I'll have to look a little into them and see what else they've done. But dude, if they just keep doing these and they make this like the Fast and Furious ones, but better, this is like that, but way better.
This is basically that. Like
this could basically be another James Bond, but not James Bond.
Yeah.
But there's not going to be any other people playing James Bond. It's just him.
They've been doing this thing, and it's because it's the yeah, that was mine. They have this I believe the first director, I don't know if it was
the first movie.
Yeah, the first movie.
Sure,
Whoever was like the main director or writers, producers, I don't know. Whoever was like, they were involved with the original Matrix films, and I believe it was either a stunt coordinator, or I believe Keanu's actual stuntman from the Matrix. That was a part.
Yeah, the director was.
Okay, so the first movie, I don't know if you remember the little Asian man that helps him tend to his wounds in the hotel room.
Was that the Keymaker?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I thought so.
So the Keymaker is in there.
Yeah.
He shows up again in this one. The second movie, we got Lawrence Fishburne. We got reunited with Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Just give me Carrie-Anne Moss. Give me Hugo Weaving at this point, dude.
Hugo Weaving could be dope.
Like there's people on this like high table.
Yeah.
Let them be on the high table. Like,
yeah.
I want to see like the full
just
Matrix.
Hugo Weaving as Elrond just comes out of that. That'd be freaking dope. Elf Assassin.
Or Megatron.
That'd be dope though. No, but like
John Wick versus the biggest gun possible.
He doesn't fight with guns. He has to fight the gun. No, like ever since the second one, I was like, this movie, as fun as it was to watch, did not satisfy my taste or my hunger for this world. Like, I want to see much, much more. Mostly just of the world. Like, it doesn't even have to be John Wick in it. Like, I just want to see the world.
Essentially, yeah. 2 was the one that I believe at the point where he comes back from the blood task or the blood oath thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying a lot.
Yeah.
When he comes back,
Yeah.
was the point that I absolutely fell in love with the franchise. When they put the hit on him and everyone is trying to kill him.
Yeah.
And it becomes John Wick versus the world.
Yeah.
That was honestly, that's something that you know what? No, I'm full of crap. You do get that in this because I just said the first 20 minutes is just.
No, yeah.
It just. it is John Wick versus the world, and
Yeah. Like, they really ramped up the stakes on these movies.
yeah, dude, it's something else. Overall thoughts. Go see the movie. I'll
probably watch it this weekend.
If you're a fan of John Wick, if anyone's a fan of if you're a fan of Keanu Reeves, just
something's wrong with you.
Yeah, dude, I don't trust anyone that doesn't like a John Wick movie at this point.
My parents just saw both of them on the weekend.
Oh, nice.
It was funny.
This latest one is probably the greatest American-made action film I've ever seen.
Cool.
And
I'm down to watch it.
I have no qualms with admitting that. I'm a sucker for Terminator 2.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Mad Max is one, Australia or wherever the hell they filmed that. But Keanu Reeves is my god now, dude.
He was just like born to play these roles. Probably this role specifically, but Neo.
I think okay, so Neo was that changed the game.
Yeah.
When The Matrix came out. I feel like this did the same when it comes to the kind of action you see on screen.
Yeah, the first one definitely was like, whoa, what's going on here? Second one, I don't feel like it stepped up as much as regular movies did to John Wick, the first one.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen this one, so I don't know what that step up would be, but I'm excited.
The first one gave us a taste. The second one was the appetizer.
Yeah.
This feels like a main course.
It sounds dope.
I feel like I still have room for dessert, So.
All right, sounds dope. John Wick 3.
Watch it.
So from that, there's, I guess two main things we did want to go over. One of them being Game of Thrones, because everybody's talking about it. That's fresh on everybody's mind.
Yeah.
And then there was something else that you did send me, and I do remember seeing it. And I know a lot of people will be opposed to the idea just because of who it is, but the new Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when you think it's Robert Pattinson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you think Robert Pattinson, there's only one movie that comes to mind. Twilight.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say this. Much like Hayden Christensen in the first Star Wars films, he did a terrible job.
Episode 2 and 3.
Yes. Did a terrible job because of a terrible script.
Yep.
Terrible director. Same with him. Those movies were not... He was not terrible because he's a terrible actor. He had a terrible script, terrible directors, terrible everything.
George Lucas sucks, dude.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says, but
He might have been good back then, but I don't even think he was good back then, though. I think it was mostly
he
everybody
produced Red Tails. I could never trust him after that.
But there are a lot of other movies he's been in. He was in a Harry Potter one too.
He was one of my favorite characters from the books. He was that guy, Crumb.
Yeah.
Wait, no, not Crumb. Crumb was some other dude.
Oh, well.
He was some buffer
Yeah.
dude.
I just remember watching the movie. Like, I didn't read the books. I didn't care for the books. I didn't want to read them. But he's not a terrible actor.
No.
And because he's not a terrible actor, and I think he can do a good job, I actually want to see him
Here's the thing.
as Batman.
Here's the thing about him was he made all the Twilight films, the whatever
Like
teen
12 of them?
the tween dramas,
Yeah.
tween vampire drama, love stories, whatever you want to call them. He put those out, and then he split.
Yep.
And most of his career has been he comes out in the occasional like big film, Water for Elephants.
Water for Elephants, yeah. And then there was another one. I forget what it was called, but it was like a darker movie.
So speaking of dark, I want to actually bring this up about him. He's in a film by the director of The Witch with Willem Dafoe as his co-star.
Really?
And it's
Is
getting
that the one I'm thinking of?
It's getting rave reviews right now, and I am so
Robert
ready
Pattinson and Willem Dafoe catch lighthouse fever in a new nightmare from the director of The Witch. What is this movie called?
I believe The Lighthouse or something like that. I'm just sold on that, dude.
Him and Will in the pictures he looks crazy. But Good Time. I never got to watch Good Time,
Dude.
That's the one I wanted to watch.
It's
And I knew it
it's
was
on
him.
Prime.
Yeah, I was like, I saw trailers for that movie in the theater when I went to go watch It Comes at Night. And I was like, I want to watch this movie. I don't care it was him because I was like, I hated Twilight, but I want to watch that movie.
The trailer it's visceral. Like,
dude, yeah. Remember Me?
okay, that was another one of his. No.
Cosmopolis. That's the one I'm talking about.
That's a good one. That one, he plays like a rich playboy.
Yeah.
And he's essentially stuck in his car or in his limo, in the back of the limo.
Yeah.
It's almost like Huck Finn.
Oh, okay.
And it's like every time he makes a stop, something weird and crazy happens.
Yeah.
But it's him as this, rich playboy in the car.
He's in The Lost City of Z. I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, okay, see, that's one I've been wanting to see. And I have a bias. I know he's British and it's a thick British accent, but the other guy, Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah.
Every time I hear him try to speak in American accent, you can tell it's so rough. To me, it just sounds rough.
It sounds forced.
And so it's hard for me to watch something with him.
Yeah.
And so I tend to avoid most of his films.
Yeah. Dude, okay.
But I've been wanting to watch that one only because I've heard really good things, and I hope he doesn't have his accent in it.
Okay, I just looked up
or doesn't have a fake American
the Willem
accent.
Dafoe and Robert Pattinson thing. Mm-hmm. Just off this image alone, I'm sold.
Yeah, no, that's the exact one I saw where
dude, he looks
it's just them. It's just them sitting there.
That looks dope.
Did you
you know what? I think I might know the story of this just based off this. Because I remember a lot of stories about lighthouses being like haunted and stuff. Because they're always like obviously by the ocean. There's always like a lot of ghost stories, and people always go missing because they end up getting washed away. Yeah. So I have a feeling this could be something like that. But I do remember one where this dude, his friend died, and he basically kept the body around because he had stuff that he wanted, and he didn't want people to think, oh, I just murdered him and then like dumped him. So he kept the body, but he basically went crazy because he kept the body around. That was like the weirdest thing ever. I don't think this is it, but this reminds me of that. And because I see The Witch,
yeah.
I'm like, there's gonna be some crazy like ghost story stuff.
Someone's probably gonna kill one.
I am excited, but just the way he looks, like freaking Willem Dafoe looks like Salty Sea Dog over here with his little like wooden pipe thing.
Did you ever see The Rover?
Which one's that one?
It's with Robert Pattinson and Guy Pearce. It's basically this post-apocalyptic world. I wouldn't even say it's.
I think I know which one you're
I don't even
talking
want to call it post-apocalyptic. It's just gas has become like blood diamonds essentially.
Let me look it up. The Rover.
Yeah, I have it in front of me actually.
Sure. I'll put the robber. Like the Land Rover.
10 years after a global economic collapse, a hardened loner pursues the men who stole his only possession, his car. Along the way, he captures one of the thief's brother, and the duo form an uneasy bond during a dangerous journey. So Guy Pearce is the one that gets his car stolen, and Robert Pattinson is the brother that he has with him.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what's going on with Robert Pattinson in there, but like he's kind of like something's going on like mentally with him, like his character, and he has some sort of disorder.
Yeah.
But dude, can that guy act?
I'm telling you,
And
like, he had that. I wouldn't say a terrible break, but that's what you know him as now.
Yeah, like, and it sucks, dude, because you get the same thing with actors. Like, you look at them now and you're like, hey, wasn't he the heartthrob from Titanic and Romeo and Juliet? Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yep.
Matthew McConaughey, what did he start out with? Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah.
That's how I see him. But
Yeah.
you get him in all those like, so I mean he's not the teen, but
Yeah.
Johnny Depp, 21 Jump Street and stuff like. And you know I don't like Johnny Depp, but the dude can act.
Yeah.
The dude's a character. Like I don't see what everyone is tripping out over about. Oh, dude, I'm still looking at the Rover screen, but the writer of the Rover, Joel Edgerton, one of the brothers from not Tom Hardy, but the other one from Warrior.
Okay.
Comes out in the Thing reboot, remake,
Yeah.
whatever the hell, pseudo sequel, prequel.
Yeah. That one was weird. But yeah, no, like you were saying, dude can act. Dude can act very well. Dude can act, and people, again, won't remember anything except Twilight. But even though he's done that, and everybody was like, man, we don't want to see that. I think it's the initial shock of like, he's
Him?
Batman?
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Ben Affleck. Everybody's like, Ben Affleck, Batman.
Dude, but when they fucking show, excuse me, but when they showed his chin, the cowl,
Yeah.
I was so on board with that.
My friend
man.
Javen was like, yeah.
As soon as I saw him, I was like, "That's Batman."
That's Fat Man, yeah.
Like, that's the
It's,
Dark Knight.
There you go.
The Dark Knight. What was it? The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah. Looked like Batman.
Yeah.
Looked dope. I think he did fine in the movies.
I don't know about Batman, but he's an amazing Bruce Wayne, and that's all I needed.
Yeah, I think that's why I liked seeing him as you like you said, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Like I think he did a really good Bruce Wayne.
And it's hard to like give him something as that Batman. And I feel like it was just tough because what does he do throughout most of Batman vs Superman? He's essentially Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And when he is Batman, what is he doing? He's fighting Superman. He does,
Pretty much.
knock around some dudes, but he's just that big, force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I think the thing I liked seeing his character is a sort of suppression of anger that is there, but he's like not letting it bubble up and like spill over. Like that, when I thought of his character and whenever I saw him on screen, that's basically what I saw. Like he's a very angry person. He's not gonna let it like control him, but like he's gonna murder dudes, which basically ends up doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, now I have to murder this superhuman being from another world. I'm gonna do it.
My cousin brought it up to me when I first like showed him that Robert Pattinson is Batman.
Yeah.
First, he had the Twilight guy, and I right away brought up 3 movies for him to watch.
Yeah.
Good Time,
Yeah.
Cosmopolis,
Yeah.
and The Rover.
Okay.
Not even like a day later, he posted an article. I believe it was through /film or I forget what site.
Yeah.
But it said 5 films to watch of Robert Pattinson before to feel anticipated for him as Batman.
Yep.
The first one, Good Time.
Yep.
The second one, I believe, was The Rover. Another one on it was, I believe, The Lost City of Z. And another one was the one I brought up, Cosmopolis.
Cosmopolis, yeah.
So 3 of the 5 I had said for him to watch were on this list.
I didn't even know he was in the Lost City of Z, but I'm gonna watch it now.
I didn't know either.
But yeah, like again, like all you know from like the past 10 years of film that you might have heard his name are the Twilight ones. But that's not representative of his work.
Exactly. And I feel like every time Batman is cast,
yeah,
everyone has this conversation.
Yeah.
Look what happened with Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
When he was cast as Batman, you know what his biggest credit was? Was what everyone I've seen this in articles and like people discussing Keaton's Batman. The first thing they bring up is Mr. Mom as Batman. That flab on the couch, that pretty, weird, that weirdo basically.
Yeah.
And dude, look at Keaton now. Like, look at his career.
Yeah.
The last few years, ever since what Birdman came out, he played the Vulture. This dude just wants to be. He wants to be
Batman again.
He wants wings. He just wants to fly, man.
But I mean, yeah, like I think you're right about the whole. Whenever somebody's cast as Batman, there's always going to be an uproar. Same thing when there's like an update to freaking Instagram. They're just like, it's different, it's changed, it's not the same. It's like, well, it's the same thing with the characters we've had up to now. It's like,
we had this whole conversation with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger. Oh, look at Heath Ledger, dude. What the heck?
Same one too. Was
I remember
jousting movie.
I gave that dude, and this was when I was in high school, and I was like a jaded teen who was dumb as hell. I was like the. Oh no, I wasn't that cringy. Maybe. I like Nickelback and Creed still, so yeah. Judge me. But when they first cast Heath Ledger, I was like the guy from Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
And I hadn't even watched Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
And I was like the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
A Knight's Tale.
A Knight's Tale. That's the movie. That's what it's called.
Yeah. That's not Joker.
Yeah.
To this day, he's arguably one of the best Jokers.
Yeah. At this point, especially after things like that, I'm willing to give the actors and whoever made that casting decision the benefit of the doubt. I just want to see what that person can do.
Yeah.
And especially in this situation, Robert Pattinson, again, was dealt a bad hand by being so associated with those movies. I want to see what he can do. And I want to see him I want to see him play the best Batman that's ever been played. Just so everybody can shut up. Like, I really hope he does.
That's the way I am with everything right now, dude. When I see people bitch and complain.
Yeah.
I just want whatever it is that happens or gets put out to prove them wrong.
Yeah, and see, I was thinking about this right now as we were talking, and when I first heard about him playing Batman, especially with what we said about Ben Affleck, if he can play a really good Bruce Wayne, he can play a really good Batman. And I think him being a younger dude can play that young, careless, playboy Bruce Wayne. And then switch it over immediately to like dark, brooding Batman. I'm gonna mess these people up.
So there was a meme. I wouldn't say it was a meme, but it was just like a couple pictures thrown together and said, "What if we get this?" From Robert Pattinson, and it was a picture of Robert Pattinson standing next to Michael Keaton, and it was a picture of Terry McGinnis standing next to old Bruce Wayne. And I was like, that's a damn movie, dude.
That would be
that would be much. I don't know if people would be ready for Beyond.
This Batman. What exactly is the premise of this Batman?
There's nothing. It's director Matt Reeves, known for Dawn and War of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Cloverfield.
Yeah.
And it's just called The Batman.
The Batman. I don't know. Like, again, like,
that's some stuff, dude, to like think about. Like,
yeah.
Maybe the Batman could be like that's why it's called The Batman, because it revolves around obviously the Batman, but maybe it's the title of Batman being handed down.
The Batman. Okay. So it'll be like,
it's kind of like The Dark Knight Rises. Remember when they basically have the whole ending where it basically comes down to like anyone can be Batman.
Yeah. So
long as they have the will to do it. And they tease.
So this isn't in any way connected to all the other Justice League movies
I don't
at
think
all.
so.
Okay. Because if Ben Affleck gets killed, I could see like him taking up like the mantle as the Batman, and it'll be essentially new Batman year one.
Just give me that, dude. Like Batman year one.
See, because they cast Robert Pattinson, like all I'm thinking is young Batman.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see that.
Is he probably one of the youngest that we've had?
I don't even know how old he is. I just like, when I think of him, I think of a younger dude.
You look up him, and I'm going to look up Christian Bale, because I feel like one of them was...
You know, he's one I didn't really hear that much of an uproar over. Unless I just wasn't paying attention.
I think people were just hyped for American Psycho.
I think... Yeah.
You know what, though? And that was the thing my cousin brought up was... Shout out to you, Nicholas, since we're talking Batman.
Shout out. He's 33. So he's not as young as I thought he was.
No. So he said Robert Pattinson needs to bulk up. I've heard a lot of this, that he needs to bulk up. Look at Christian Bale when he did Batman Begins.
Yeah. It's called a suit.
Well, a suit, fine. Look at freaking Affleck's suit.
Yeah.
But Christian Bale went from the Machinist basically straight into Batman.
Yup.
I don't think it's... I mean, like, I'm sure it's hard to put on mass, to put on muscle. I mean, I'm not buff myself, but those dudes, actors, they have the money to, like, get those, those trainers to put them in shape, to put them in this mindset, to get them from point A to point B.
Yeah.
If you think he's not going to put on mass for this year, like, you should not be watching movies, because you don't know that what these guys are capable of doing to themselves to get into roles. So
not only that, but what they can do post everything.
Look at Jonah Hill, dude. Like that guy's like a round ball like me, and that dude
but also
goes from this to tiny to big again, and that dude must have just like the loosest skin in the world.
But dude, just Henry Cavill, freaking Justice League, like he had a mustache. What happened to his mustache? They got rid of it. You don't think they can add? It's not hard. It's just extra steps if they want to do that. But if not, I mean, again, a suit.
Yeah.
It's called makeup.
It's
called practical effects.
We get young Leias. We get giant monsters destroying cities with Godzilla.
We can make a dude look buff.
Yeah, it's called acting, man. Like, I don't know.
Can you act buff?
Can you act buff? So kind of, I'm going to use this as a transition into Thrones, but
sure.
There is a petition
going
around regarding apparently as DC fans, fucking DC fans nowadays, who are petitioning to get Robert Pattinson out of the role of Batman.
Oh my
because
gosh, this is just being stupid now.
He's the sparkly Batman.
Well, he was, but yeah.
Oh, he
yeah.
was a
Yeah, like he literally pretty much was. Yeah.
Hey!
He's already been
I
Batman.
love this casting even more now. I didn't even think about that.
No, those people are dumb. Just like this people who had a petition to redo Game of Thrones season 8.
I saw a tweet. I wish I could like credit them for this.
Yeah.
But it said that they want the room full of those nerds that started the petition in their writing room, bitching and arguing and complaining with each other as to how Game of Thrones should have ended in a writing room, and have cameras recording all of this and just making fun of them for not knowing how much it takes to go into that kind of writing, especially with something that's a story that's not technically complete anyways.
Yeah. See, this comes into the whole problem of trying to come up with an ending to a show that effectively I don't think the writers of the show know what Game of Thrones is.
Yeah.
Not because like they haven't read any of the other stuff, but they're not Martin. He knows what Game of Thrones is. He is Game of Thrones essentially. Yeah. They don't. They have version of it. They have like a carbon, not even a carbon copy. It's like a weird 99-cent
they have
knockoff
like
copy.
The outline of it.
Essentially, yeah.
They you know what they have? They have the blueprints, but they're not
they're not competent architects.
Yeah. They're not an architect, and they have the blueprints.
This is one a problem I've run into too, because I've written stuff and I've also tried writing things like Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this question. If you were to start to write a show or even a book or any type of story like Game of Thrones, where would you personally start? Knowing what you know about Game of Thrones, the show, and about the lore and the backstories and all that stuff from whatever you've heard from the show and whatever you've absorbed from people who may have read the books or not, where would you start this story? Because obviously
okay, so the way I see it, I have the look of it from the perspective of Breaking Bad, where they know where this character is going to end, and they know where he starts and they know where he ends.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad goes from you're on this guy's side, you know who he is, you know he's a family man, you know he's willing to do what it takes for his family to get by.
Yeah.
And it ends with him becoming the total opposite of who he was.
Yeah.
And it's the journey from that's how I feel like you should write a story.
Okay, so you're saying basically start from you know where this character begins and where they're going to end.
And fill in from there.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Okay, so we want to know where this character starts out. Obviously, they're going to be less experienced, less competent at the beginning. They're going to go through changes, and they're going to go through their trials, and they're going to come out a better person, a more competent person. Whether we like them or not, at the end, they're going to be changed. They're going to be different. They're going to be better, hopefully. Yeah. Now, when it comes to a show like Game of Thrones, you don't have that with one character. You have that with
a lot of characters.
Tons of characters that intertwine.
That was the okay, so
just writing for one character is hard enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Intertwining all these other storylines is even more difficult.
Yeah.
I don't think
you're not going to please everyone.
No, well, not even you're not going to please everyone. It's just the ability to write that with any level of competence is very difficult.
Yeah.
Because, the Tolkien movie's coming out, right?
Okay, yeah.
How did he start his story? Dude invented a language before he started the books. What has George R. Martin done before even starting these books? We don't know. He's probably been working on this for like 20 years.
I feel like that dude probably just gets high and just like plays video games.
He probably does. But again, they don't know what he knows.
You know what he is?
What is he?
He's just a dungeon master.
He is.
And he doesn't know where he's even going himself.
No, he doesn't. That's exactly what I was going to get to. He doesn't know where he's going, but he takes as much time as he needs to. He goes over his deadlines to get an ending that satisfies whatever it is that's going on at the time in the book. These people didn't have the time.
No.
Arguably, they probably shouldn't have come out with anything. But I understand why they did. If it was bad, it was bad. I understand that. Now, what was I going to say? Like you said, he's a DM. He's a dungeon master. He really is. I DM a game every Sunday. Right.
Dude, I feel like that's exhausting enough.
It is exhausting because, like, all right, I have DM'd enough to know that my characters aren't going to do what I want them to. Uh-huh. So I have to set up 5 different routes, knowing they're only going to take one.
Okay.
Now, if they take one of those, that normally means we're going to go down this storyline, right? No! It means halfway through this storyline, they're going to want to do something else because they found something shiny.
Yeah.
That's what it means. That's exactly how Game of Thrones is probably being written. Like, he doesn't know where this is going. He doesn't know until his characters decide, which, if you're writing, you kind of know what that means. Like, certain things will fall into a cohesive narrative. But that comes with a lot of thinking and a lot of planning, really, because you can't just be like, this guy's going to go over here. He's going to talk to these people. They're going to fight, whatever. It's not that easy. That's exactly why, like, Tolkien in Lord of the Rings has Gandalf do a lot of different stuff. Why? Because Gandalf is so powerful. If he were to be in the middle of everything at all times, the story would just be over. So he needs that character.
He has his broken eagles, dude. That just
he has his broken eagles. Like, he has him die, so he can't finish everything quickly. Because if he was around, if he got the eagles, and be like, "Yo, let's go over to friggin' Mordor," the story would be over. So what happens? He gets captured. He escapes.
He always is in the tower.
He gets killed. Yeah. He comes back, and when he comes back, he's not with Frodo and Sam. He's with the other guys.
Yeah.
Like, Tolkien's gone out of his way to throw these roadblocks in Gandalf's way because he knows he's so powerful that he'll finish this off easily.
Yeah.
I don't think these writers have that kind of foresight and know how powerful these characters are, like, or should be.
Homegirl had 3 dragons. Like, she tore. They gave her that where she tore ass throughout the land.
Yeah, I saw this one tweet.
She gets to she started at the bottom, essentially, rose to the top, and she gets gutted, dude. Like,
she gets gutted.
There's all the stuff that they set up too. Like, they set up prophecies.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where it's like, if you're going to set this up, at least give us some sort of payoff. There's this one. It's not really like a hard and fast rule in terms of writing, but it's essentially in a play. In the first act of like a mystery, if you see a gun over the mantelpiece, that gun better be used.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. Like, there needs to be a payoff. We need to see that gun either have been used or know that somebody used it to kill somebody else and see the aftermath. We don't necessarily have to see it, but there has to be that payoff. There was no payoff with that prophecy.
And there was a lot of it. There was a lot of that throughout the series or the show.
Yeah.
We get Arya learning how to, the face disguise stuff.
Yeah.
She used it once. What if that was just...
Anthony,
I love you.
Woo!
But is she legal though? I don't know.
I think she is at this point.
Hell yeah!
I just saw that and I was like,
I was wondering why you laughed and then all excited. She's 21.
Exclamation point. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
What else do we? I'm just gonna gotta put my hand over the chat for a few seconds.
Yeah. What else you got, Anthony?
Yeah, you tell me, Anthony. Yeah. He's not saying anything. All right. So we got that. We get. Let's see what else.
Yeah, she didn't even use that ability in these last
dude,
few episodes, did she?
There's a bunch of stuff that doesn't pay off, or it's just kind of there. There was a whole thread on Twitter where it's like, what was that? What was the point of that? And then I want to bring this up.
Okay, I'm going to bring one thing up because this is something I've been watching a lot recently in terms of the way story structure works, the way usually resolutions kind of tie everything up. Mm-hmm. There's usually an emotional ending and a physical ending. I know there's different terms for them, but basically an emotional ending is you have, they finally conquer their fear, they do whatever it is they need to do, and they feel that sense of I can do this now, I have the power, whatever. Yeah. The physical thing is you're afraid of heights, you have to climb up this tree and save a person or whatever, despite the fact that you have that fear. In Game of Thrones, it felt there was a lot of the physical ending of certain people dying, certain things happening, certain fights ending. Yeah. Without the emotional ending.
Yeah.
The emotional fulfillment. Everything felt detached.
It needed Yeah, I read that one.
Probably. I would think so.
I saw someone say that they basically needed 2 or 3 more seasons. This season right now that we're on, could have been dedicated to the Night King. The second one could have been dedicated to Cersei and Control, and then going that way.
I think if they just completely redid 8, you could do both of those at the same time.
Yeah. I think there's needed to be. We got hour and a half episodes or 2 hours episodes.
Again, it just my girlfriend was watching. Well, pretty much every time she watched one of the episodes of season 8, we were in my room and I was either watching it with her directly, just looking at the screen, or I was playing No Man's Sky while she was doing this. And the one where the Night King comes with all his dudes.
I believe it was the second.
That was a good episode until the last 20 minutes.
Was it the?
Well, it was a semi-good episode until the last 20 minutes. I was generally interested to see how these people are going to get out of it. I
didn't dig there was the whole thing about why was Jon Targaryen for him to fly in one episode over the castle in the fog. And it was that episode where they're like trying to find the Night King, and the Night King's like blasting them back and forth.
There was a lot of weird stuff in that one too. But that episode, like in terms of just like a good siege scene, like the entire thing was one giant siege scene.
Yeah, it's awesome. It reminded me of a Lord of the Rings battle.
Yeah, it basically was just Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
With a lot of really dumb tactics.
I need to rewatch those, man. It's been a while.
Yeah. But that was a good episode. But here's the thing. It was that whole episode was just an entire battle, right? Mm-hmm. What happened? One thing happened. Only one thing happened that entire episode that was worth note. Are you trying to think of what it was?
Yeah.
It was the thing at the end. Arya.
Oh, just her.
Yeah.
Her getting it in on the Night King?
That was it.
The red eye, what was it? Blue eyes, brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes?
What?
You don't remember when she tells her that? The witch?
Oh no, I don't remember that.
They're in that after Barrick is like the dude with the eye patch. After he like basically like gets, annihilated by all the dead.
Okay.
And he closes the door behind him. And the witch is in the room with the Hound and Arya. Mm-hmm. And the witch is talking to her, saying that she needs to fulfill her prophecy or something like that.
Yeah.
And she mentions to her the brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes. And she like listens to what she's saying, and she just kind of takes off from there.
Yeah.
And you don't know where she's going, and then she,
yeah,
she jumps at the Night King like Matthew McConaughey jumps at the dragon in Rain of Fire, but actually, comes through.
Yeah. See, again though, how long are these episodes?
Those were that one was, I think, like an hour and a half, hour 20 or something.
An hour and a half to just have one thing happen in the episode? Mm-hmm. This is my problem with that last season. Nothing happens in each of the episodes. Or one thing happens in each of the episodes of note. The rest of the time, it's just people talking. And, okay, maybe what they're saying has some sort of...
Brienne gets knighted.
And then
she has sex with Jaime.
Yeah.
And then Jaime dips.
Yeah.
Just to go be with Cersei.
As a real man would.
With his sister. Nah, this ain't Alabama, man.
Woo!
Sorry,
they love this series.
They're all about it, dude. But
Jaime's the best one.
Dude, Jaime had this great arc, and then I feel like he was the only one that really got done dirty.
I think they all got done dirty, but in a different way.
It was just like his was just the most like, come on.
His was the most throwaway.
Yeah, everyone else, they did get their conclusions. They did end.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact that I wasn't satisfied with it. Like, I don't mind him going back.
Yeah.
I don't mind him going back. I think it's just the way he went out.
Yeah, this is a trend that I've been seeing in a lot of stuff where they basically take what's the writers take what's been given them and chuck it out for something completely new that isn't representative of what's come before.
You know what does this a lot?
What?
Writing in the WWE. Folks want to be upset about Game of Thrones, but try being a wrestling fan. Try watching WWE, dude. You get this last pay-per-view. They had 7 of their, I wouldn't say a lot of the youngest, but like maybe a good 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 7 of the big pay-per-view, the main event of the last pay-per-view. 5 of the guys in there are these like young guys that are just like hungry for, that match could have blew them all up into stardom.
Yeah.
The guy that's not even in the match comes out and takes the big briefcase to win the match. And I'm talking about Brock Lesnar. You know Brock Lesnar's name.
Yeah.
So imagine this guy that's like just been in the company maybe 4 years, and he's getting his big push into a main event.
Yeah.
And he's reaching for the he's about to pull the big, prize down and win the match. And Brock Lesnar, that's been there for 10 plus years on and off, who holds one of the titles for almost 2 years straight, comes out and's like, hey, I win, and now I get a chance to be, the champion all over again.
It's like that one meme where
like, really, dude?
Tom's coming through the door.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's like that meme.
Where it's like him creaking like that. Yeah.
It's like that.
It's exactly like that, dude.
It's just
it's
Arya.
Like,
See, this is one of those things.
You're not always going to be satisfied with what you get. Blame the writing, blame the writers, do whatever, but anytime you go into something, just know that you're not in control of the outcome.
Yeah.
Unless you're those pouty dudes that got their new Sonic. So good on you.
I would genuinely want to see people who are like, oh, I didn't like this ending, and I didn't like this ending. But I would also see, this is something I would want to do, but like I'm not as into Game of Thrones as other people, is write an ending.
I feel bad for all those people that write fan fiction.
Yeah.
And they had this like probably an understanding, or they had not saying all of them, but some of them probably had the same mindset of, Martin. And they probably wrote a solid ending, but they gave the ending, to the writers that are just, they're a part of the show, and that's what they went with, and that's what got filmed.
What I think they did too is I think they wanted certain things to happen and then made people do things in the show in order to get them in these situations. Because I know for a fact they wanted Arya to kill the Night King, and that's been there for a while. They've wanted that for a while. They've said it in videos. Why? Why her? Why in that way?
Probably the least expecting one to do it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, like in that particular scenario, what payoff is there? We've been expecting John to do it, and this is what we get. Like it is something unexpected, but not in a way that's meaningful, not in a way that matters, not in the way that's like, she did it. It was like, oh, I didn't think she was gonna do it, but I guess she did.
One of my favorite like posts was someone upset that he didn't die by the dragon's fire.
Oh,
and they're like, is he Targaryen? It's like, he's dead. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
who cares?
Who cares?
Game of Thrones, man, it's over. Who cares?
Yeah. Again, I stopped watching like second season. So I just didn't care. Like, I just came back again. I only watched like the last season because my girlfriend was watching, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll see what's going on. Yeah. But I mean, you can tell what's going on
if you know a lot of those characters and you know big things that have happened in previous seasons. You're good.
Yeah, it's not hard to keep up even if you're not watching it.
Even like exactly, but it's not even just that. It's stuff where they're like, they feel like their character should have been entitled to the way it should have ended. Like, they feel like they should have had... They feel like their favorite character should have got a proper ending. And that's the way... That's, like, there's no changing their opinion.
Yeah.
That's my gripe with a lot of those.
I don't think those people know what a proper ending is, though. That's
exactly.
my thing with a lot of people that have that complaint. It's like,
see, like right now, I brought up the whole thing, like, oh, I was upset with what happened with Jamie. Like,
yeah,
I'm upset, but it's the way they wrote it.
yeah,
get over it.
yeah. I know people will be like, oh, I invested so much time in this and blah blah blah, and
try watching a show on Netflix. Like, it gets canceled after 2 seasons. Like,
try keeping up with certain anime that don't come out with new episodes
Jesus
like
Christ,
every 10 years.
Dude,
like yeah. People have to wait. Just because you waited a certain amount of time doesn't really matter.
What was the big one that was like everyone was waiting for, and they finally got like so many episodes?
Berserk, Hunter x Hunter.
I think it was that one. Try watching imagine everyone watching One Piece, and then the finale just like fades or cuts to black like The Sopranos or something. Like,
oh yeah. I don't know. I can see why people want a redo, and if they ever do a redo, I'm gonna laugh, but I'd probably be excited for the redo just to see.
They're not gonna
things different.
They're not gonna get like
it's not
Kickstarter, you punks. Like,
but I would want to see somebody's interpretation of what that last season would be. That I'd be interested in watching, even if it was just like stills and people narrating what's going on.
If someone did that, like there's like a digital comic kind of thing,
yeah,
like a motion comic,
yeah.
Hey, show it to me. I'll watch it. Like if they put the time into it and they put thought and writing into it, show it to me. I'll check it out. I wasted 8 seasons on one show. I'll watch another. Like
there's a whole bunch of shows.
I'll watch an alternate ending like to something. I do it on Blu-rays. Like,
yeah, this is actually one thing that happened to me recently. Is I was reading a trilogy. It was a trilogy where the ending felt so alien to me. Mm-hmm. When I finished those books, I was like, I don't know what's going on anymore. Like, the entire story led up to this one event. Uh-huh. I don't know what the event was.
It just happened?
No. Like, I literally don't know what the event was. Like, things happened.
I'm gonna get Kebab City. You want?
No, I don't want Kebab City. Again, like, there's things that happened in the last book. One of them was the important thing. I don't know which one it was. The problem with that book is it's so well written and it like sucks you in, where I just wanted to read it because just the experience of reading it. Like, it was just so well written and so interesting, this world that this dude created, that I just wanted to see it. Like, I just wanted to be in there. But I can honestly tell you, like, I'm not even exactly sure
what you read,
what the point was. And I'm still confused by it, and I want to go back and read it again because I'm like, I don't know if I just missed something. But in that instance, I'm fine with not knowing what it was. Like, that I see as a error in my part. Mm-hmm. I don't really see it as an error in the writer's part. The Game of Thrones things I see mostly as an error of the writers.
And like, that's another thing though. Like, I want to say it's their fault, but you can't really blame them for having to like we said. You have the blueprints, but you don't know how to read them.
Yeah.
So you get the general idea of like, this is supposed to be a multi-level complex. I only know how to make a floor.
Yeah.
What if I make an entire, one story thing and then make one right on top?
Yeah.
Do I know if that's how it works? No, but I'm sure an architect would.
Yeah.
But that's just the mentality. Is they go in, we have an idea, let's write this out. We know that's where Maybe he wants to go, but we're doing our own thing at this point. We're in uncharted territory with this.
Yeah.
Let's do something else. Maybe it was supposed to be Jon on the throne. Maybe it was supposed to be Dany sitting there laughing at everyone, and that's how Martin ends it. I don't know.
That sounds like something he would write, because I think what he would do is something very unexpected. I expected Dany to die. I expected Night King to die however he died. Like, I knew it was going to be something like that. Like, he wasn't going to obviously stick around. A lot of other characters, I didn't really see anything one way or another. But I was thinking about this last episode before it aired, and all the possibilities to me felt like they weren't satisfactory. Like, let's say Dany did take the throne. Is that satisfactory?
Honestly,
I don't think so. If Jon takes the throne, is that satisfactory? No. If Sansa takes the throne, is that satisfactory?
I took more satisfaction in the fact that, like, Bran took it.
I didn't.
I laughed. I was like, this fool who sat there, like,
at the wake.
Like,
yeah.
There's a line he says where, like, he basically says, well, I didn't come all the way out from, was it Winterfell?
Yeah, and that line, I was like, excuse me?
Dude, I was
like, you sat back for all of this? Seriously. I was like, I don't like this guy.
Dude, like, that was some dirty punk shit, dude. Like,
but see, all of that entire concept, like, he's been there, he knew what was gonna happen. That was delivered in that stupid line. You couldn't have given me a better line with that? Like, not even at, like, the coronation and something, like, where he's kind of telling people what happened?
Yeah, dude.
Like, it felt so boring. It was weird, man. It was weird watching that episode.
He has that dumb line too where he flat out says, like, oh, well, maybe I'll they say they spot Drogon flying east or something like that.
Oh.
Or I think they say, I forget which direction. But either way, he's like, well, maybe I'll look for him.
Yeah. I saw this stupid meme where it was like, where it showed the dragon carrying off Dany, and then, like, oh, when the dragon lands, and it's like somebody eating like a chicken. I was like, what the freak? That's stupid.
Anthony says, I would have been satisfied if Gendry would have sat at the throne or sat on the throne.
I guess.
Dude.
At this point, I don't think anything would have satisfied me, because I think the fact that everybody's vying for the throne is more interesting than anybody having the throne.
Yeah.
And once you put somebody on there, it's like, well, now what? And somebody gets replaced, it's like, well, now what? Like, it's...
That was a...
Like, that's, I guess that's partly the point, but it just feels...
I feel like it didn't matter who it was that sat there.
Yeah.
Or that got it, or, you know. You're not going to please everyone. You're not going to... It's going to feel hollow regardless because of that last season.
I don't think it will if it's a satisfying ending in terms of, like, the narrative. Like, if they set up certain people to be the one who's going to do this, that person should be the one to do it, or there should be a satisfying ending as to why they don't. I don't think this fulfills
but that's what I'm saying is, like, the whole season There was none of that. It was, let's get one big action scene after another, and then we'll skip one episode and just try to like fill in character scenes and whatnot. And we didn't get it. It's just let's throw the three-eyed raven on there.
Yeah. Was it like the vid kid from the freaking the Burger King's Kids Club?
Which one?
Not vid kid, that one freaking the Wheels kid, the one on the wheelchair.
Oh my god!
You remember that stuff?
Did you see that one post too? It was the season 1 poster revealed who was gonna take the throne the whole time, and it was a picture of Ned sitting on the throne. And to his right was the Raven.
No, but I'm not surprised, nor do I care.
Yeah.
Once Ned died, I was like, oh.
Dude, that was honestly like,
I don't care
it was
anymore.
so hard to like. You have to look at it from the perspective that it's supposed to be a political show.
Yeah.
And it's all these different like parties vying for something. But even then, it's like, politics suck ass right now.
And see, that's another thing too. It's like if I wanted to see all that drama stuff, I could just watch the news.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
The only difference is that there was tits and dragons.
Yeah. I mean, if there was tits and dragons in real politics, people would be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
I mean, I would really care about who took the throne at that point, but it's not.
But it's not, yeah. Yeah, no.
We do have a White Walker in the office. So. But,
it's like an orange walker.
Orange. He's
what's it called? What the hell was I gonna say? Yeah, no, that show really dipped. That's why I stopped watching in the second season. That show really dipped for me in the second season because although it did set up all this cool stuff, I didn't care about anybody. The only one I cared about died. I was like, why do I want to watch anything?
The only one
that?
I liked was the Hound and Arya.
Arya, yeah. Ever since like the first episode, I was like, Arya's the coolest.
Yeah,
I want to see her, but
my
whole way she turned out.
And I like his overall like. It's rough. I'm not upset that it happened. I'm more upset as to the way it happened.
Yeah.
Was the Hound versus the Mountain.
Yeah.
The Clegan Bowl, as they dubbed it. It was lackluster.
Yeah.
It was like there was one good shot and everyone was saying how so beautifully shot it was. There was only the shot of the mountain and then the dragon flying across. But the scene was shit, dude. It was dumb.
Yeah.
It was fine, like certain things that happened in the fight.
Yeah.
But it was just so corny that like it felt like a Saturday morning TV show.
Yeah. A lot of it felt lazy.
It felt like watching old Xena.
Oh no. Although Xena was dope.
Yeah.
The show was dope. So was Hercules. Hercules was dope.
But they were better written.
As bad as they were, oh no. Yeah.
You know what show is better than Game of Thrones?
Which one?
The Mystic Knights of Tirnanog. The Power Ranger Knights. They taught me about keystones, dude.
Keystones.
Game of Thrones didn't teach me squat.
They didn't teach me about dragons. I learned in Skyrim.
For real.
Skyrim
dude,
dragons were cooler.
They're terrifying.
Well, I like the whole.
I need a replay.
I like the whole. They speak, and that is like their attack. That was dope.
Yeah.
But anyways, at this point, I'd rather watch anything else than Game of Thrones season 8.
I mean, I wouldn't say there's nothing else to watch, but you don't have to watch Game of Thrones anymore.
Yeah. No, I've been waiting for this to be over because this is like the Avengers of shows. Everybody's hyped over it. Now that it's over, what is there? Nothing.
Did the dweebs get their
Dweebs.
Big Bang Theory ending?
I don't even that show I don't care about.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't care.
It's basura, but
It's basura. I don't know.
I don't know of any other show that's like culturally like.
There are none. Like there literally are none. None that I can think of.
But I mean, that's not even a like linear show. I was thinking of like something like Black Mirror that has like all this big fan base right now.
Yeah, I mean that's another one, but again, it's not like a normal linear show.
Sons of Anarchy's done.
Everything's pretty much done.
Dude, Sons of Anarchy is basically Game of Thrones, but with bikers.
I need to finish that show. That show was dope.
It is, dude. Had the ending with that one. There was some stuff like, but that was like the season was like built that way, and that was the same competent writer. But it's just, it wasn't like, it didn't feel like it was wrapping up. It felt like it was another like build up in a season.
Okay.
But obviously, there's main characters getting snapped out of existence. But
off the top of your head, are there any season finales you can think of that were like, okay, this ended the show?
I liked Banshee.
Oh, I forgot about Banshee.
Banshee knew when to get in, or Banshee got in, did what it was doing, and then it got out in the right way.
Okay.
Its final season was kind of weird because it was like jumping back and forth. It opens up with the main character's death, like they're just dead, and then you're not the main character, but like a main character.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like hopping around.
Wait, what?
Fear the Walking Dead.
Let's not forget Fear the Walking Dead. It's trying to reinvent itself this season, and it's going to start bringing in many elements of The Walking Dead to tie them in. I'm excited about that. I forgot about that show.
That's true. You know what? That's another thing with Walking Dead right now is...
Who's that?
Alex Molina.
Yeah.
They bring up a lot of stuff. Fear the Walking Dead, I believe, has been taking characters from The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead?
I only watched the first season of that, and I don't think anything really from the first season tied into the current show.
Yeah.
But as of late, and I believe I'm trying to think of what characters right now have like left there, because they did this big time jump.
Yeah, you told me about this one.
So they're throwing characters left and right, and I feel like when I thought The Walking Dead was slowing down, it's not.
Yeah,
it's getting legs, and it's gonna start doing more Fear the Walking Dead stuff. AMC's gonna start producing movies with Rick Grimes and stuff like that, and that is something to look forward to. But I don't know if I think it's just in general, like the zombie genre.
Yeah,
I'm kind of fatigued.
See,
I'm not really looking forward to that stuff.
This is another thing I see is the zombie thing. It's been like a few years that's just been overdone. Everybody's fatigued, I think. Avengers, everyone's going to be fatigued from now on. And now that Game of Thrones is over, it's another genre essentially. At least for the people that have been watching it.
Yeah.
So like what's left essentially? Because I think this can happen with a lot of things, and we might see some good fantasy shows here and there. We do have that Lord of the Rings one.
Watchmen starting.
Yeah.
I don't really know how I feel about that Watchmen show. Only because it's... Did you know it's a continuation of the graphic novel?
That sounds like a terrible idea.
They show the flag for the Black Freighter. And there's a chick pirate. There's a cult of Rorschach. The only thing I'm excited for, and I respect the hell out of them, is they have Jeremy Irons as Ozymandias.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Not just that. Well, there's that, but Don Johnson plays a sheriff. Like a country sheriff.
Yeah.
I just respect any show that can get Jeremy Irons and Don Johnson in the same,
Yeah. See, that sounds cool. But as a story, Watchmen was just, it's done. It's done. Like, I understand there's that ambiguity at the end where it's like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But I don't think that's something that necessarily has to be played out. If they do it in a creative way that can pull me in, I'm like, I'm down.
I need to see.
But
because
that as the premise of the show, I just don't. That I'm not excited for.
yeah, I'm already out, dude. You know why?
Why?
It's Damon Lindelof.
Who's that?
Prometheus.
Oh.
I lost. I don't care for shows that just like,
Oh.
like, yeah, I get you need to keep your audience entertained. But I feel like that's the tired format now is like, let's introduce a mystery in this episode and let's, let it play out for a couple episodes and then let's bring the mystery back in. And then during that episode, we're going to bring in another mystery or you're going to start asking another question. And that's all shows are nowadays, dude. Like, just give me a linear damn show.
Yeah.
I don't it's not that I'm stupid. It's just, I know what I'm watching, and I know that you need to keep an audience, captivated. But you can keep me captivated if you just write a damn story.
If you can't keep me captivated with these characters, you're writing it wrong. And I know because one of my favorite shows of all time is Red Dwarf. Sci-fi 80s comedy from the UK.
I know of it.
It's 3 characters. The entire show is basically just 3 characters on a giant ship in space. That's it. They're trying to get back to Earth. They went like thousands of light years away. Dude wakes up from like cryo sleep like millions of years later. All he wants to do is get back to Earth. That's the entire show. That's it.
Yeah, that's all I need.
It is the funniest thing ever. It is one of my favorite shows. No, actually, there's 4 characters. They introduced one later that sticks around a lot. But that show you need to watch. And that show really carries itself with its characters. Because they're so funny.
Is that continuing right now?
No, it's done.
Oh,
It's actually had like 2 or 3 season endings. Or like season, like they'll like write an ending and it's like people want more.
Yeah.
So they make more episodes and it's like, oh no, here's the final ending. And it's like, no, we want more. And it really kind of gets a little played out, but it's still good. It's just we've already had an ending, so
yeah,
these new episodes don't.
That's like one of my favorite shows, and I tried it, and that was just me being jaded too. Dexter.
Oh yeah,
that went on for 4 too many seasons, or 4 extra seasons that just were too much.
I didn't care for that show that much.
Season 1 through 4 was that was
It was peak Dexter.
peak Dex. It lost its showrunner after 4, and someone else. And this is, I feel like, what Game of Thrones kind of did was like they had they had a bunch of different writers.
Yeah.
They were coming in, writing their episodes. They knew where they were going with them.
Yeah.
And then it went to the two main guys. I'm not even gonna look up their names.
Yeah.
Screw them. But they got introduced as the writers, essentially the showrunners.
Yeah.
Dexter, it had the main showrunner, and then it's not a definitive ending. It was just a dark, bleak ending that it could have ended right there.
Yeah.
And you could have just had this whole mentality of like, you don't know what he's going to be doing. He could be doing the same stuff. Like he could be, a killer till the end of his days, but I'm going to bring it up. There was another character called the Trinity Killer.
I remember that.
Okay, so if you remember it, Dexter was enamored by him at the fact that he was a killer, but he was living a normal life and he had a normal family.
Mm.
That was Dexter's endgame. That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
And he disguised, he pretended he was someone else to get close to the Trinity Killer, to befriend him, to find out, what gets this guy ticking? Why is he, how is he like this? How can he, sustain this life?
Yeah.
Cut to, this guy finds out who Dexter is. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. He kills his wife.
Mm.
Dexter ends up picking him up, kills him. Dexter comes home, and he finds his wife dead in the bathtub, the way he kills people. The baby in the room, or in the bathroom, covered in blood of the mom. And it's almost a mirror image of what happened to Dexter when he was younger.
Mm.
When this killer killed his mom, Dexter covered in blood. And now Dexter has this, as he referred to it, as the Dark Passenger.
Yeah.
It was a cycle. They just set up a cycle. And Dexter's, the last lines of that season were, "This is fate."
I think I saw that episode.
And that's a perfect ending to that show.
Mm.
Because it, even if he does make it as a father, it's just probably going to be his kid that is the same, exactly the same. He's going to have to take care of him the same way his dad took care of him, the way his dad knew he was going to grow up to be a killer.
Yeah.
And we got 4 seasons of just garbage. We got some good characters.
Yeah.
They were garbage. And then the season ended, or the finale ended, and it was garbage.
Yeah, I remember somebody telling me what happened in the season finale, and I was like, yeah. Like, as someone who didn't even watch the show, I was like, yeah, that sounds boring.
Yeah. And it just happened so quick. And I remember sitting there, like, basically crying.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for the fact that what was happening to the characters was emotional to me. Mm. It was the fact that they just they just Deus Ex Machina'd an ending into it. Yeah. It wasn't something that was like, we have plenty of time to write these characters out, to do this. It's like, oh, your sister was injured. Hey, complications. She's dead. Like, what?
Yes, finally.
Where the hell did that's not planned, dude. Like,
That's rushed, is what it is. The last thing I'll say on this, because we can wrap it up because we've been going long.
Yeah.
Is again, one of the podcasts I do listen to is a podcast by the author Andrew Clavin, and he's written a lot of good stuff. I like his books. One of the main things in watching movies and watching shows and reading books and all this stuff is the main thing we get out of it is meaning. All these episodes that suck and all these series and finales that suck because they give us no meaning. There was so much left over that we could have gotten out of it, but it just completely squandered it by giving us either cliches, rushed endings, or just really stupid decisions by the characters. That's like, this makes no sense. There's no reason people would do this. This is dumb. And that's why nobody likes the season finale.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, yeah, there's nothing else. They just suck at it. But yeah, that's basically it. So, anything else? Any last words?
If you're still here with us, let us know what's your favorite series finale, season finale.
Oh shoot, what's my favorite series finale? Okay, I'll say this. The show on Netflix, it's called Longmire.
I know of it.
Okay, it's he's actually, the main dude is actually in the Matrix. He's one of the agents. But he's like this, he's a Wyoming sheriff, and it's basically just a crime show that leads up to all this crazy stuff happening. A massive, it's not really a spoiler, it's just a really dumb spoiler. So throughout the entire show, it like takes place in the present, but the dude doesn't have a cell phone because he just refuses to like get with the times, basically.
That's dope, dude. I love when like movies or shows.
He's constantly getting other people's cell phones and like using them, and it's hilarious. But I'll spoil this: the very, very last shot of the very, very last episode, he finally gets a cell phone, and he answers a call.
That's dope.
It's not the best series finale. But it's hilarious. It's just a good.
I'm gonna say mine real quick, and it's 6 Feet Under. I don't know if you know that show, but it's it's this family that runs a funeral home.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And spoiler alert for this one, but at the beginning of every episode, it shows them, shows a character, it shows someone dying. And the show's kind of revolving around them, like, tending to that person. Oh, okay. And there's, like, something regarding that person. Yeah. And so what happens is all the characters start going off and doing their own things. And the show is ending with some song. And it's showing you how they all die.
Oh.
Throughout the years.
Wow.
And it's the most heartbreaking. Like, I don't get like sad and emotional like that much when I watch some shows. But that show literally, like, it shows there's the gay couple, and you see the one of them was a cop, and you see him as an old man as a security guard for what is it, the bank trucks? Yeah. And he gets just randomly shot by a cop or by someone sticking it up. You see someone just having a heart attack while they're on a vacation on a yacht. You see someone like die of old age or get sick, and it's just all these things that you just don't expect them. Like that's the way they go out. That's the way they go out, and it's like respect, dude. Like I've never seen a show do something like that, and but yeah. Until let's see, I'm off. We could probably do something next Thursday, Friday, or maybe.
I think Friday I'm good.
yeah, I might be able to. Because I was gonna probably watch Godzilla next week.
Okay.
So, well, that'll work if I go Thursday night. You know, I could have something to talk about Friday. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Hell yeah. We'll be talking Godzilla next week. So come back in, stick around, have a good one, drink a beer.
Bye.
Laters.